Today's headlines. The Constituent Assembly and the shift to federalism takes top priority at the House of Representatives. The LTFRB asks taxi operators to justify their petition for an increase in flag down and other taxi rates. The DOJ cites recent attacks by the CPP and PA as basis to be tagged as terrorists. 19 million devotees are expected to attend the activities of the Feast of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo, Manila. Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The House of Representatives plans to prioritize the convening of Congress into a constituent assembly and shifting to a federal form of government. House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez said the proposed federal charter could be submitted for referendum with the barangay elections in May this year. Alvarez earlier said both chambers of Congress would convene in January to propose amendments to the 1987 Constitution. The Speaker is confident that the House supermajority would give its backing for CON-AS. He, however, expressed doubt if the Senate has enough numbers in support of the proposal. Alvarez also said he prefers that the two chambers vote jointly in the Assembly. He said the timetable of the forthcoming 2019 midterm elections may be affected if the Filipino people accept the federal form of government. The federal setup proposed by the PDP Laban Party retains the position of the president, who would act as head of state, and introduces the position of a prime minister as the head of the government. The Presidential Communications Operations Office announced that 381 government agencies have complied with the Freedom of Information requirements. The compliant agencies are now eligible for the grant of a performance-based bonus or PBB. The executive order on FOI requires all offices under the executive branch to disclose details of their transaction records, documents and papers, and government research data used as basis for policy formulation. In a memo signed by Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno, agencies were given a month to remedy their deficiencies before the release of a final non-compliant list on January 31. To be considered compliant, government agencies are required to upload their corresponding FOI manuals in their websites through the Transparency Seal. The publication of manuals is considered a criteria for good governance conditions aligned with empowering citizens with access to government information. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board told taxi operators to justify why a 10 peso hike from the current flag down rate of 40 pesos is necessary. LTFRB board member Eileen Lisada said a petition should be filed in order for the board to hear the views of those that will be affected by the fare increase. The Philippine National Taxi Operators Association President Bong Suntay said they're asking for a rate increase to mitigate the impact to drivers and operators of the higher excise tax for oil products. Under the train law, an initial excise tax of 2 pesos and 50 centavos per liter shall be imposed on diesel this year, which will eventually increase to 6 pesos by 2020. He added that the number of taxis in Metro Manila has significantly dropped because of high operating costs and will be further affected by the impact of the train law unless a fare increase is granted. Ride-sharing firm Grab is also proposing an increase on its fares because of higher excise taxes. Grab Philippines country head Brian Cruz said the company is set to file a petition for a 6 to 10% or 10 to 13 peso increase. Grab assures its riders that the fare adjustments will be implemented only when there are significant changes in oil prices. Malacanang released directives to all government officials and personnel in the executive department applying for foreign travels. The memorandum signed by Executive Secretary Salvador Medaldea was issued in line with President Rodrigo Duterte's campaign to cut down extravagant and lavish foreign trips. According to the new guidelines, officials and personnel will not be allowed to have official trips that are not within the function of the requesting personnel, excessive in expenses, and not beneficial to the country. No official or personnel shall also be allowed to travel abroad without authorization and proper documents. Agency heads authorized to approve foreign trips must report these every end of the quarter to the Office of the President through the Executive Secretary. Representatives of the Philippines in an international conference or convention abroad must submit a report to the President within 30 days. Violators may face administrative actions for misconduct, insubordination, and other related offenses. To keep up with the Duterte administration's economic goals, the Department of Trade and Industry focused on the development of micro, small, and medium enterprises. Here's our report.
The Department of Trade and Industry focused its projects and programs in 2017 to the micro, small, and medium enterprises in the country, heeding the call of President Rodrigo Duterte to further boost the sector. In 2017, DTI kicked off its microfinancing program, Pondo sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso or P3, which aims to improve Filipinos' access to financing facilities and avoid loan sharks like 5-6 lending scheme. Even without a formal budget allocated for the P3, the administration funded about 1 billion pesos worth of projects in 2017. Apart from providing financial access to Filipinos, DTI has strengthened mentorship to MSMEs through negosyo centers nationwide. A total of 614,417 entrepreneurs were assisted by DTI's negosyo center across the country. The negosyo centers also conducted over 11,000 training programs in 2017. Under the Duterte administration, there are 718 negosyo centers nationwide. The DTI was able to secure the Philippines' agenda in ASEAN meetings, particularly those policy focusing on MSMEs, for them to participate in the global value chain and ensure that no one would be left out as nations push for globalization. DTI also welcomed the rebound of exports, which grew 11.7% in January to October 2017 compared to the same period in 2016. As the DTI launched the Philippine Export Development Plan 2017 to 2022, the government targets for a $122 billion to $131 billion revenues on exports of goods and services by the end of Duterte administration. During the ASEAN Summit, the Philippines also led the region to strengthen its ties with dialogue partners and has pushed for cooperation for fair trade, increasing investments, and eliminating poverty in ASEAN. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Still to come, the DOJ cites recent attacks by the CPP-NPA as basis to be tagged as terrorists. Authorities urge residents in Marawi City to exercise caution as they prepare to return to their homes. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito na ang ikatlong kambalingan ng mga residente sa 8 barangay ng lungsod ng Marawi. Sa ikatlong bahagi ng kambalingan na sinimulan nitong ika-9 ng Disyembre 2017, unang pinauwi ang 4 na barangay sa lungsod ng Marawi. Maaga pa lang nananabik na ang karamihan sa mga residente ng mga barangay ng Gimba, Dulay West, Dulay Proper at Malimuno. Ang unang 4 sa 8 barangay nagaganapan ng kambalingan. Katulong ng LGU Marawi City at ng Task Force Bangon Marawi, ang ilang mga sasakyan ng gobyerno at mga pribadong NGOs, tumulak na ang convoy ng kambalingan. Dinaanan ang mga pauwing bakwit sa kani-kanilang assembly area. Nang makarating sa kani-kanilang lugar, sari-saring paghanda ang makikita. Karamihan sa kanila ay labis ang kasiyahan sa kanilang pagbabalik tahanan. Aabot sa 15,024 ang inaasahang makakauwi sa pangatlong kambalingan. Ayon sa mga punong barangay ng naturang lugar ng kambalingan, mahalagang manumbalik ang dating pamumuhay sa kanilang mga lugar.
Ang programa ko po dito sa mga kabarangay ko, kung paano sila makakuha ng hanap buhay ng maayos, livelihood. Tsaka yung mga garden, kung paano mabinta sa market. Yun ang mga programa namin dito kasi yun ang hanap buhay namin dito sa Barangay Life Proper.
Malaking pasasalamat naman na mga nagsipag-uwi ang mga bakwit ang kanilang ipinarating sa gobyerno, kasabay ang kahilingan ng tulong pangkabuhayan. Sa pagdaraos ng Kambalingan, kasabay din na isinagawa ang ilan sa mga basic services ng gobyerno tulad ng medical check-up, psychosocial interventions at iba pa.
Ito pong ginagawa natin ngayon is ito yung sinasawag na MHPSS or psychosocial processing. So ginagawa po natin ito para sa halimbawa yung sa mga bata ma-divert yung mga attention nila, halimbawa yung mga distress.
Para sa bayan, Marlon Atun, Philippine Information Agency.
The Department of Justice cited numerous attacks made by the CPP-NPA in various provinces as basis to legally declare it as a terrorist group. Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Peter Ong said that they are close to finalizing the government's resolution to be filed before a regional trial court. Ong said their investigation showed how the CPP-NPA did not honor the good faith and sincerity extended by the Duterte administration and continued their offensives during the peace talks. The petition was expected to be filed with the court within January. The panel headed by Ong listed about 15 incidents involving the NPA. Among the attacks cited was the ambush against 2 soldiers in a storm-hit village in Katubig, northern Samar during Typhoon Orduha. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre expressed confidence that the lower court would grant the government's request following President Rodrigo Duterte's proclamation naming the CPP-NPA as terror organizations. The Philippines topped the list of ASEAN nations with the healthiest manufacturing sector despite an overall slowdown in the region's manufacturing economy. Here's our report.
The Philippines has topped and new other countries of the ASEAN in the Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index in December 2017. IHS Markit's ASEAN Manufacturing PMI showed the region scored 49.9 last month, led by the Philippines, which posted an index of 54.2. Despite a decline from its score of 54.8 in November, the country's production index signaled a solid increase, IHS Markit noted. Following the Philippines were Vietnam, Myanmar, and Thailand. The manufacturing PMI of Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore were below the 50 level. Indices above 50 signal an improvement in business conditions, while readings below 50 show deterioration. IHS Markit Principal Economist Bernard Oh said that the ASEAN manufacturing economy finished the year on a subdued note as business conditions were broadly stagnant in December. While other survey indicators suggest that the ASEAN manufacturing sector is likely to have a disappointing start to 2018, Oh noted that business confidence in the region for the next 12 months has improved. For the Philippines, IHS Markit's report showed that businesses were more optimistic for the next 12 months, with the confidence index registering its 4-month high in December last year. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Barangay chairpersons in Marawi City have been tasked to warn residents against returning to their homes, while clearing operations following the months-long siege are still ongoing. Here's a report from the Philippine Information Agency.
Barangay chairs, especially those leading the 24 barangays situated in the most affected area in Marawi, will help explain the danger of entering their communities to internally displaced persons who have been wanting to go back to their communities. This was the agreement during the first local government of Marawi forum, convened as the wrath of Typhoon Binta is felt at the Task Force Bangon Marawi field office. Led by the Task Force Bangon Marawi chairperson Eduardo de Rosario, all 96 barangay chairpersons, municipal councilors, government agencies, TFBM Field Office Manager Felix Castro Jr. and Co-Manager Mayor Mahul Gandamra attended the event. Heads of the clearing operations presented the danger of searching for improvised explosive devices or IEDs and unexploded ordinances or UXOs in the most affected area in Marawi. The military disclosed that there is still a number of unexploded IEDs and UXOs hidden in the surviving structure and rubbles in the most affected area. The military explained the rigorous process of locating unexploded bombs and the danger it poses not only to the military but to civilians if they were allowed to enter the area. As soon as IEDs and UXOs are cleared in the most affected area, the military would then assess the remaining structures to identify if they are still safe. There are reported cases where structures suddenly collapsed due to the intensity of its destruction. For PNA Newsroom, Josh Bata, Philippine Information Agency.
The Office of the Ombudsman filed criminal charges before the Sandigan Bayan against the mayors of Palapag Northern Samar and Isabel Leyte. Palapag Mayor Manuel Auyang, Councilor Eleno Calot, and Municipal Council Secretary Emil Go were charged for the alleged falsification of public documents involving some anti-poverty projects deliberated in a special session in February 2015. The names of Councilors Sonia Evardone and Anacorito Javier were included in the names of those who approved the resolution. On the other hand, Isabel Mayor Saturtino Medina Jr. and his wife Nolette and Municipal Administrator Perla Berbante were charged with graft for the alleged anomalous purchase of vehicles by the municipal government in August 2010. Mayor Medina and his wife as well as Berbante purportedly sold to the municipal government their own personal vehicles at prices higher than their original market value. Davao City faced various challenges in the form of tragedies and threats throughout 2017. Authorities, however, pulled out all the stops to maintain peace and order and help all those affected. Here's our report.
It could have been a rosy picture for Davao City in 2017. Growth was on the uptrend at 9.4%. Construction was booming. The numbers in crime index and volume were decreasing. Davao City remains the top destination for investments and tourists until the night of December 22, when Davao River overflowed due to the heavy rains brought by Tropical Storm Vinta. The flood displaced 20,000 families from 25 barangays, sending them to evacuation centers. Then came the fire that hit the city's homegrown NCCC mall in the morning of December 23 that left 37 persons dead and 1 missing. The two tragedies prompted Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio to cancel the rest of the Pasko Fiesta activities, including the yearly Torotot Festival to welcome the new year. 2017 was also marked by the ongoing rebellion of the Communist New People's Army. The Communist rebels continue to wreak havoc on the lives of the people in the hinterlands and Lumads who are perceived supporters of the military. They even intensified their extortion activities, earning about 1 billion pesos from businesses. But the military also scored against the rebels. The military's community engagement drew NPA rebels to surrender. Meanwhile, the Davao City Police Office stepped up efforts to maintain peace and order in Davao City. In January, they visited more than 26,000 houses since the intensified double barrel project against illegal drugs was implemented October 2016. The DCPO also conducted a total of 122 buy-bust operations with 183 suspects arrested and 10 neutralized. DCPO also has done cleansing of the ranks. 4 cops tagged in illegal drugs were placed on floating status. The City Police Office also launched the Neighborhood Watch called Integrated Revitalized Operation of Neighborhood Watch of the Mega City or Oplan Iron City, which aims for a safer Mega Davao. All these initiatives have kept the city safe. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Up next, 19 million devotees are expected to attend the activities of the Feast of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo, Manila. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
hindi pa huli ang lahat. Lahat ay may pagkakataong magbago at lahat kayo bilang mga ngayon ay itatrato bilang mga produktibong miyembro ng ating pamayanan.
Tunay ngang kahanga-hanga ang pinakitang ninyong determinasyon upang matapos ang Yakap Bayan Program.
Yung susunod na mag-move up, inyong gagabayan, ha? Ang tunay na yaman ng Lukban ay ang kanyang tao.
The Land Transportation Office in North Cotabato has impounded more than 100 motorbikes and pedicabs with dubious registration documents since December 31. The motor vehicles were seized following joint operations of LTO Mid-Sayap, the local police, and elements of the Army's 34th Infantry Battalion. The motorbikes were impounded at checkpoints in Barangay Patindigan, San Isidro, Salunayan, and Kapinpilan. Mid-Sayap Police Chief Superintendent Gilbert Tuson said the deployment of police and military checkpoints was made after intelligence reports showed local terrorists had plotted to bomb the town. Police have been placed on triple red alert since the holidays and will continue this month as the town prepares for Halad Festival, an annual historical and cultural Thanksgiving event of farmers. The Halad celebration coincides with the feast of Señor Santo Niño in Mid-Sayap. Brunei Darussalam diplomat Datu Paduka Lim Jokoy has assumed office as the new Secretary General of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Lim is the 14th ASEAN Secretary General, succeeding Secretary General Lee Lung Min from Vietnam, who completed his 5-year term on December 31. The diplomat's appointment was approved at the 31st ASEAN Summit held in Manila last November 2017. Lim was previously a permanent secretary at the Brunei Foreign Affairs and Trade Ministry. He was Brunei's chief negotiator on the Trans-Pacific Partnership free trade talks. His earlier positions also included heading the trade departments of the Ministry of Industry and Primary Resources and then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, respectively. The Secretary General of ASEAN is appointed for a term of 5 years. The last ASEAN Secretary General from the Philippines was Rodolfo Severino Jr., who assumed the role from January 2003 to December 2007. Justin Brownlee led Alab Pilipinas to its second straight win in the first ABL game for 2018 at the Phil Oil Flying V Center in San Juan City. Brownlee dropped 29 points to lead the team to a 90-79 win over Malaysia. Alab came out smoking right at the tip-off, but Malaysia slowly crawled back and took the lead late in the third period. Alab finally broke away for good, even stretching the lead to as high as 16 late in the period. Brownlee also had 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 steals and 2 blocks, while fellow world import Ronaldo Balkman added 17 points for his own impressive debut for Alab, which moved up to 2 wins and 3 losses. Joshua Munson made his return to the Dragons lineup and tallied 21 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal, but that went for naught as they fell to 1 win and 3 losses. Quiapo Church is ready for the millions of devotees who are joining the activities of the Feast of the Black Nazarene on January 9. Meanwhile, the Traslacion or Grand Procession will undergo changes for ease of travel. Here's our report.
Some 19 million devotees are expected to participate in various activities, including the Grand Procession and celebration of the Feast of the Black Nazarene on January 9. According to Manila Police District Traffic Enforcement Unit Head Superintendent Lucille Faicho, they are looking at more people joining this year's activities as shown in the number of attendees in the last 6 years. The estimated crowd includes those attending Novena Masses at the Quiapo Church and also those who will be joining the activities at the Quirino Grandstand. On the other hand, Quiapo Church Parochial Vicar Father Douglas Badong said they are ready for the annual celebration. Meanwhile, the route for the Traslacion 2018 was slightly changed due to safety considerations. This year's procession will now be on a counterflow at P. Burgos, which will take it directly to the Jones Bridge. The procession would no longer go above the cloverleaf near the Liwasang Bonifacio to allow easier maneuvering of the Black Nazarene's carriage. The organizers are also introducing the 12 prayer stations in selected parts of the procession route from Rojas Boulevard to Globo de Oro. Quiapo Church Rector Monsignor Hernando Coronel said that they will be having the prayer stations to make the procession more spiritual. Last year, it took 22 hours before the Black Nazarene's carriage was able to complete the route, which starts at the Quirino Grandstand. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
President Rodrigo Duterte has terminated the services of Marina Administrator Marshal Amado III. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque announced the removal of Amado from his position for taking numerous foreign travels. On December 22, 2017, the Office of the President reportedly received a complaint from Marina employees regarding Amado's excessive trips. An investigation by the Department of Transportation revealed that Amado made 18 trips in 2017 alone and 6 trips in 2016. He clarified though that only one of those trips were unofficial, 3 were sponsored, and the rest were paid for by the government. He added that Amado had received honorarium for his travels. Roque said the president is serious in his mandate for all government officials to live modestly, stay true to their calling, and be selective in the trips they should undertake. Malacanang earlier fired Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor Chair Terry Redon over his supposed unnecessary foreign trips. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Let's take another look at today's headlines. The Constituent Assembly in the shift to federalism takes top priority at the House of Representatives. The LTFRB asks taxi operators to justify their petition for an increase in flag down and other taxi rates. The DOJ cites recent attacks by the CPP-NPA as basis to be tagged as terrorists. 19 million devotees are expected to attend the activities of the Feast of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo, Manila. Thank you for joining us in today's edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.